What's up, everyone? This is the next episode of Background Noise. I'm your host, Kane, and this segment is actually the first of the Baby Brother Beatdown Breakdown segments.
B.B.B.B.
And let's get this shit started. What's going on, my dude?
Hey, dude. I was like, oh, Jesus, we gotta get the dogs out of here. Bigs me back up.
Bear with us. We're still I'm still in the process of getting a studio all set up and all that good shit. And so just eliminate all the background noise for now and just bear with us. But anyways, dude, 2017 has definitely been a crazy year for MMA. Ups and downs, and needless to say, I think we can both kind of agree the most beneficial and the best fight card of the year has been the UFC 217. Holy shit, my dude.
Yeah, that was a good one. It's hard to say that anything that Connor hasn't been on has also been like a very amazing card, because he's just every time fucking delivers the whole year, really.
Well, not only that, the UFC is really kind of lately in 2017, maybe not necessarily in retrospective to all their past years, but just a percentages aspect. Without Ronda, without Brock Lesnar, and especially with
John Jones,
even
fucked up.
You're muffed up, Johnny.
Yeah.
But now with Connor, you know, he took the kind of temporary hiatus to go boxing for a little bit. The UFC for the first time has really had to advertise itself, and even then too, think of the tragic event of the Vegas shootings right before the Vegas fights that really
Eddie Bravo conspiracy hashtag it was planned. Like,
oh man, but yeah, the UFC really took a hit there, and they struggled being able to really keep up with the pay-per-view numbers.
That happened like a few days before an event, right?
Yes, and no one went. Like, I mean,
what was that, 217?
No, it wasn't 217. It was I think it was either 216 or 15, because shortly after, basically, kind of like the point I was gonna get to, 217 really came at a good time for them in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Right after a really, really tragic event in the same town, and you really
I remember Kevin Lee talking about that.
Yeah, dude.
So it was the Ferguson Lee card, which is really, I remember. Yep, yeah, I remember it being really significant because, I mean, just for the last time Ferguson fought, and but no one. I mean, obviously with such a tragic event, you know, your attention is not going to be on a sporting event after that, you know, especially in the same city. But anyways, the significance of 217, like the last three fights were just fucking insane. Not only were they title shots, all of them, you had arguably one of the greatest MMA fighters, George St. Pierre, coming back from his retirement. I don't remember. Was Bisping the underdog in that one? I don't remember.
I don't remember the stats on that one for sure. But I mean, of course, you have GSP returning. You have, like, of course, Bisping probably being the most deserving of that weight class, the 185 weight class, to hold the belt, just because he gained my respect. I definitely
he's been there the entire time.
Yeah, he's kind of that bridge between the old school and the new school. And so that was a huge fight in general. And then the one before that was arguably the biggest upset in UFC title fight history.
So,
Rose over
Joanna
Jędrzejczyk.
Dude,
yeah,
that fight is amazing.
The significance behind that we'll definitely go into, but that was definitely like the upset, not only of the year, but probably the biggest upset in fighting that I've seen, besides the classic, like, you know, 80s boxing fights that just went toe-to-toe crazy. Anyways, and then you had the heated rivalry between
TJ Dillashaw and
Cody Garbrandt. Yeah. And a lot of people didn't really know exactly what was going on behind the scenes with all that, but we'll kind of fuck it, we'll just start from there. You know?
My God. Well, I mean, if they saw the Tough, whatever it was, Tough.
I mean, dude, a lot of these listeners probably haven't seen Tough since it either started or probably just listening to the MMA podcast in general for the first time. So, I mean, fuck. Like,
so basically, the heat between Cody and TJ was they used to train together with Team Alpha Male.
Uriah Faber.
Uriah Faber is like the head coach. He has his own gym in probably San Diego, I think.
Is that Alpha Male?
Yeah, Team Alpha Male.
Yeah.
And so TJ left to go with Dwayne Ludwig, right?
But dude, he did that to better himself. Like, honestly, I do not blame him for switching gyms. Like,
I mean, it made him better, you know. And apparently, I mean, we don't know what really happened, because Uriah is always like, He never. Well, TJ's side was that they got really jealous, and so like they got jealous, and then like giving him shit for switching camps, and they were not supportive and stuff like that. And they basically made him choose like either you or us, like Team Alpha Male, or you go with them. And TJ apparently wanted to train at both, but apparently there's some talk about him not even being like part of Team Alpha Male anymore. Just go train when he's in the same area. And they're like, no, that's not fucking cool. So he went with Dwayne Ludwig to Colorado, Denver, Colorado, and that's when it started. The whole thing. And
he's just a beast on the feet too. He really brings an aspect to the game that like
his footwork is like he's one of a kind.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And he has so many weapons. Obviously his striking is great, but dude, he can piece up and really set up those kicks beautifully. Like probably the best in the weight class.
Maybe anyone not named Dominic Cruz, just depending.
Or I mean,
they're just
Mighty
different.
Mouse. Meh.
Well, they're not in the same weight class. Mighty Mouse is 125.
They might fight though, but we can get into that a little bit later.
They might, yeah.
It's a big maybe.
Dillashaw and Mighty Mouse, that'd be fun. That'd be an awesome fight.
But anyways, let's not get off on too much of a tangent and confuse fucking everybody, and including myself. But anyways, I mean, not only is there like a little bit of a rivalry, a big rivalry between the two fighters. They are very skilled. You have one that's Cody Garbrandt, that's
knockout artist.
Yes, and he just comes in like a fucking mad just ape,
like
just
fucking piston for a right hand.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. And he'll sink that in there so quick. And he has
He almost had Dillashaw in the first round.
Yeah, dude, okay, but like here's the thing: he not only he has some feet himself, man. He's not necessarily comparable to
his footwork's really good. It's just more of a boxing, like
a little bit broader of stance, a little bit heavier of a base.
And Dillashaw's more just awkward, like movement, kind of in and out.
Yeah, but anyways, they did The Ultimate Fighter. They're both coaches, right. And oh my god, dude! At first, I was kind of siding with Garbrandt. And I was just like, okay, cool. TJ's kind of sounds like a little fucking rat.
Tool.
Yeah.
Because actually, you had watched the podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast with Cody Garbrandt and Uriah Faber, right? And then I heard the podcast, the
Fighter and the Kid,
with just TJ Dillashaw, and I was like, well, wait a minute, there's two different stories here.
Yeah.
And so we started the Ultimate Fighter, and then fucking Cody Garbrandt made himself look like an idiot the entire season.
Picked a fight just about every episode, and they lost like every single fight. They lost
a fight and fucking grabbed him by the throat.
Yeah, dude, straight up assault him.
Yeah, he's like, he came at me, man. Like he had that coming. I was like, okay.
Oh my god, dude! It was, and that's just it. Here comes fight night, and just the anticipation is just fucking rising. And then like my heart was about to fucking rip out my goddamn shirt.
Yeah.
And when that fight started, the first round was just so back and forth, if I remember correctly. Yeah, both of them were kind of just trying to implement their plans, but right there at the last 5 fucking seconds, man, Garbrandt rocks.
Yeah, he
rocks him.
He was walking like he had 2 left feet.
Yeah, dude. Like basically right before the bell, Garbrandt rocked TJ and just completely
if he had maybe 4 more seconds on the clock,
4 or 5 more,
finished him.
Exactly, 4 or 5 more seconds, he could have finished him, but saved by the skin of his butt, just got out of that
hole.
Yes, yes, and he got out of that round, and he was like, no, I was fine. But
he's walking like he needed a helmet.
Like, yeah,
like, dude, it was bad. He knew it too, and he was pretty upset when he went back to his corner too.
Yeah, he was
like, God damn it.
But then the second round comes up, and then you have didn't was it the first or second round that Garbrandt knocked down TJ
with a head kick?
No.
Right before he knocked him out.
Because I remember he knocked him down, then he fucking flipped him off. Anyways, the second round was all TJ. He knocked him down with the head kick, and Garbrandt kind of shakes it off, gets back up. But then
it was more of a balance thing, maybe. But
yeah, we have to rewatch it. I'm not too sure about whether he slipped or not. But Dillashaw definitely got a good lick on Garbrandt. I think it was a left high kick, and just clipped him right on the chin, knocked him down, gets back up, and they have a flurry again. But it was like the last minute and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was later in the second round.
Yeah, later in the second round, TJ pieces together an amazing combination and just knocks him the fuck out. And then And then, like, right when he stands up, TJ just gets, like, they practically kiss. Like, they're bumping gums, man.
He was
like,
screaming in his face.
Just like,
yeah.
Like,
he was, like, eating his nose. It was really
yeah. But, yeah, and that was just, that was a belt change. There's 3 belt changes and then in that card as well.
First was the Rose. And
then next, you had Rose versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and both of us, if I'm not mistaken, both had Joanna by a landslide. Like this here.
Yeah, Joanna was, dude, no one, I mean, she was undefeated. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's pieced up girls that have beaten Rose. Like,
yeah.
And it didn't add up. We just thought this is kind of a tee-up fight for her, or even just waiting,
she probably took it as a, like, okay, just who's next? Like.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And
because she was ranked number 4 in the weight class in that division, I'm pretty sure, when she fought her. And because she beat 1, 2, and 3 already, so it's just number 4. Okay, you're next. And
so Rose was number 4, and she comes in, and this is the most confident I've ever seen Joanna in any like sort of way. In I mean, granted, in the past it was pretty much just YouTube videos and stuff like that, but Joanna came in like spitting poison, dude. Like she was trash talking the entire. Yeah, she was ready to fucking like. Just take her heart out and just run with it. And then Rose just had such a quiet, demeanor. Just like she just knew she had a task in hand, and it's just. And we all just thought that she was just gonna get fucking fed to this wolf, and just right in front of all these thousands of people. And she came out, and she's clearly not as fast. And couldn't piece together as many, crisp, clean combos. And
I mean, she was catching her, dude. I watched that.
But that's just the thing, man. Her fucking timing. It was impeccable. She probably threw 4 or 5 significant strikes, but they all connected.
It was, I don't know. I can't remember.
I mean, we'd have to rewatch.
She was catching her quite a bit,
and it was just we were astounded. And then she knocked her down once.
She knocked her down once. Then she got confident, and then you want to start catching her a little bit. And then
she just caught her one more time, and then
that
left hook caught her. She dropped her, and she
I think she tapped to strike.
She did tap to strike.
So she doesn't admit it. She was like,
she don't admit it, but she did. She was smart and just protecting her career. She didn't.
I think it was maybe out of just pure reaction,
or maybe just frustration.
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine being that victorious for that long and just such a reign of terror, and then just lose to someone
queer street.
Just the utter realization that I just dropped the ball down the
that was
hill,
her first
and it's still rolling.
Moment,
and probably her career.
Her career, because she's been a goddamn train nonstop.
But nonetheless, dude, Rose, if anyone deserved it, it was fucking Rose. Just a fucking highlight story, and just she seems to be such a sweetheart. I just want everyone to be good and happy, and she's she's a real sweetheart. But anyways, then you had the main event. At 185, you had GSP coming back after, what was it, 2 years? Or 4 years, from surgery, and he came off of a slight losing streak, and he retired. And
I thought he retired champion.
Did he retire champion?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he walked away with the belt.
That's my bad. But anyways, he comes back, the biggest we've ever seen him. But apparently in all of his time off, he was doing a lot of reflex exercises and really starting over from the basics.
Yeah. Wasn't he getting going to this medical facility to do with eye
hand-eye coordination?
Yeah, testing to where they got it 0.4 faster than the average human or something like that. It's on, one of the
which is insane if you look at it from
I don't know if that's exactly correct, but they were talking about it on one of the embedded series.
But I'm reading his book right now, A Way of the Fight, and it's really, really interesting because he really goes into kind of all the way down from his childhood, his way of thinking, his methods, and he even talks about his first fight that he won in the UFC, his first loss, what he was going through, his training habits, and all that shit. And I really, really think that he came back for just the purity and just the.
Who was his first loss?
What
was it? Matt Hughes, wasn't?
No, they fought 3 times.
Yeah, but the first time they fought, dude, Matt Hughes just.
We're kind of going off on a little tangent. Anyways, he was gonna fight Bisping, and Bisping I think kind of hit a hot spot with St. Pierre because he was talking a lot of shit as usual, as per usual. And that's GSP's just a good guy. He's like, oh yeah, my friend, well I will bring it to you on Saturday night. I think that really just set off a spark in him too, and he came out. I mean, arguably, I think he came out better. I mean, I know he was heavy, and
It's hard to say. I just don't think you could judge it off one fight.
Okay, that's fair to say. That's fair to say, but I mean, we'll see because
like he got lit up on
the ground.
On the ground, yeah. I mean, that's where he should have been. That's where he should have had the advantage.
Not necessarily, dude. I mean, like there's a lot of fighters out there.
I mean, yeah, because GSP is known for just taking the double and then doing ground and pound or like submitting, but like he should have had the advantage on the ground, and that's where he got the most damage.
Anyways, what we're talking about is for people who haven't actually seen the fight, GSP. Prior to this fight, they had trained together, and even Bisping was talking about how GSP was superior on the ground. Pretty much anytime he wanted to take him down, he could. Yeah. And we really think that this played into a factor of why Bisping, compared to his previous fights, he came out what seemed to be quite timid, very, very cautious. So I'm gonna say timid, but cautious.
Yeah, definitely.
And he missed out on a few opportunities that we feel like against other fighters he might have took. And anyways, GSP did get the takedown eventually, and while GSP was on top, where a lot of people would think he'd have the advantage, Bisping was putting in work from on his back, laying in elbows, unexpected elbows into his head, and dealing some damage. But what had happened, I think Bisping got on all fours to try and post up, and that was his mistake. Bisping posted up, and GSP took his back and ended up catching him in a rear naked choke. But and he went unconscious. He didn't tap. But it just I don't know, man. I think this definitely is not the last fight for GSP. The thing about GSP now,
it definitely is at 185 for sure.
Yeah, GSP fought Bisping at 185 and he obtained the belt, but that's not his most comfortable weight class. He used to fight at 170. And that's just definitely a better weight class for him. And he even said that he doesn't plan on fighting at 85 again.
Yeah, I mean.
And he's been complaining of some abdominal pains and some sort of like stomach issue, which we really do think is just him cutting down to 170.
It definitely is. I mean, that's what he has to do. He's not fighting at 85.
And this can tee up a lot of other shit in the future.
Dude, they're going for a super fight with McGregor. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know.
Happen. I'm telling you, that's like
we are now in the era
after Conor fights Ferguson, and after if he beats Ferguson, loses to Khabib.
Okay. Well, here. Let's explain who Ferguson and Khabib are. There's kind of the 155 weight class is just fucking stacked. Arguably the heaviest hitting weight class in UFC history. Yeah. At one point in time, let's just go down the list. You have McGregor,
Conor's the champion.
Yes, and
Tony,
and those of you, he's not currently in the UFC. He's in the UFC,
I'm pretty
but
sure
he has not
who
fought.
Conor McGregor is.
Yeah, you're right.
So everyone knows who Conor McGregor is. So then we have Tony Ferguson, who is the interim champion. Because Conor has just been out of the UFC for a long time. Well, out of the UFC, but
just a fucking monster.
Yeah,
bro.
He's very unorthodox, and he's an amazing ground game, especially off his back. He's Eddie Bravo. He works with Eddie Bravo, so yes, who is
just 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, just fucking insane Jiu-Jitsu. And then you have Khabib, who is just like a fucking rampaging grizzly bear riding Russian wrestling guru.
Yeah. His grappling is the best. No one can compare to it.
The thing about this guy is he's not only I was listening to Fighter and the Kid, and Brendan Shaw was talking about how he went against a world class elite wrestler. I think from Afghanistan or Kazakhstan. Don't quote me on that.
Stands.
And it was his first fight in the UFC. And this world-class wrestler got taken down 21 times.
He shot 24 times.
He shot 24 times against a world-renowned wrestler and took him down.
He was a stuffed teddy bear.
And it's just, and if you fight him, you will, he gives heavyweights a run for their money. He trains with Daniel Cormier, who's currently the light heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. And Cain Velasquez, who is arguably the greatest heavyweight in UFC history, but he is going through some issues right now with his back. But that we'll save that for another time. But so you have this Bermuda Triangle of just.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, Conor has that definite, undeniable one-punch knockout power
between the three, absolutely,
which is a good matchup for Tony Ferguson because Tony Ferguson tends to get some damage before he's able to implement his game.
Tony Ferguson's a good matchup for Conor McGregor, yes.
Yeah, so, and then
as far Ferguson has been known to take some licks.
So yeah, definitely. Right.
And then you have, Ferguson versus Khabib.
And then, so if Khabib is able to control Ferguson, well, not maybe control, which definitely is his game to take him down, he's a tough customer on the ground.
Yeah.
For sure, because he can definitely catch you in a submission or just work elbows. I watched his Kevin Lee fight today. No, was it Kevin Lee? I don't know. What the fuck was it? It was either... Fuck. I watched him Tony Ferguson today. I forgot. It was one of those past two fights, either against RDA or Kevin Lee. But he was going for this, like, jumping leg lock. Like he would, like, go, like... I don't even know what it's called. He would jump for the leg, but do, like, a roll. And try to catch him in a leg lock. And then if that wouldn't work, they would go on to they say they would mount or try to get on top of Tony Ferguson. He would get solid licks in from the ground. Just he finds weird ways to punch with good momentum to where it actually does damage from really weird angles.
Like weird angles from on his back even.
Yeah, he can do
generate a lot of power.
Yeah, so if Khabib is planning to take him down, he could easily get caught in a submission or take damage going down.
And Khabib did take a couple shots from Barboza, which is his most recent opponent that he just ragdolled.
Yeah, and Michael Johnson, but in the Michael Johnson fight, he actually got rocked and was in trouble for a little bit, or maybe a few, 15 seconds or so. But
and you'll have to bear with us. I know we're kind of throwing some names out there like crazy. We'll try to kind of keep
talking about everyone top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10 people in the weight class.
Yeah. So. Generally, if you hear some names, they're all going to be in generally the top 10. And, just the more and more you listen to us, you'll kind of catch the same wavelength that we're on and kind of just
UFC app. No, I'm not trying to be like, I'll advertise you, but dude, that shit is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Fight Pass.
Yeah. It's like Hulu or Netflix and everything. It's just a bunch of UFC stuff. And it's totally worth it if you're into MMA.
How much is it?
I think it's like it's probably maybe I'm not sure. It's like $11 maybe.
Like $11 a month.
Yeah, a month. But
yeah, that's so cool.
It's every single UFC fight ever recorded, and they also have other organizations that UFC goes with, smaller ones,
Yeah, and we've even seen some jiu-jitsu tournaments. And
yeah, you can watch the 24/7 live stream, and you can watch jiu-jitsu tournaments and they have some good stuff.
Yeah, but dude, I'm really, really looking forward to January 20th when Stipe Miocic is fighting Francis Ngannou.
Yes.
Oh my god.
What do you know any of the undercard for that? I completely forgot.
DC's the co-main event.
He's fighting right Ozdemir.
Yeah. I think he's gonna rack.
That's gonna be I think that's gonna be a very.
My only concern with DC is that he put so much energy on the John Jones, and I'm wondering if he's gonna come up the same.
He did well though. He did really well.
No, I'm saying just the way it all went down with John Jones. John Jones, if you haven't heard, he failed a piss test for the second time, and it's just there's so much that goes into it. And I
think it's more than the second. I think it's the third. Several times, because he did it after
twice when he was about to fight DC.
Yeah, he fucked DC. Daniel Cormier several times.
And DC is the light heavyweight champion right now, and
John Jones is his only loss.
Yeah, John Jones is this guy's only loss, and he was 13-0 as a heavyweight too. So this guy is no joke, and this guy trains with Khabib, the guy we've been talking about, and I just one of two things is gonna happen. No, realistically, he's just gonna ragdoll the fuck out of him. I really don't see
any other way.
Yeah, he's just too dominant.
Because he's fought such lanky guys. That's really what Ozdemir has going for him too. Like, he's such a lanky dude, but he's been able to find a way to beat him every time. So
the size difference between him and John Jones was huge. Like, John Jones is so much lankier, and he was getting in there.
He was doing well. Within the first 10 seconds, he knocked his mouthpiece out with a right hook or something.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about John Jones: if all this shit hadn't happened, he'd be arguably top 2 or 3. Pound for pound best in the world right now.
I mean he technically is, if not the best pound for pound. It's just he's on fucking roids. But it's sad because he probably would be still the best pound for pound without them, which is
who's to say, man? Who's to fucking say?
I think part of it's just I think part of it is that he's just a party animal. He likes to be a bad dude like that, for maybe I don't know. I don't think he's ever gonna come clean fully. John Jones is just truly that kind of, I don't know, kind of like a fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Life lessons from Papa D.
I mean, he's gone like all Bible Jesus-y now, but then like it's
it's like a scapegoat for his actions.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm just like, no, I mean, he's just a fuck up sometimes, but he's a badass. Like no one, like dude, he's like the baddest fucking no one. It's just it's unfortunate that he's always doing something wrong.
Yeah, so DC, I haven't even looked at the.
And people hate DC because of it. It's not fair.
Yeah, DC's. I mean, he's done amazing. He will always have a job with the UFC.
Oh yeah, he's a great commentator. Yeah,
he's been doing really good with Joe Rogan, and he brings personality to it for sure. And
yeah.
Not to mention he knows what it's like being obviously the light heavyweight champ.
Mm-hmm. He's the best name, not John Jones.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just I'm really looking forward. I hope the best for him. I really just want to see him succeed.
Yeah, how old is he? He's getting up there, and I think it's getting harder and harder for him to make 205.
Really?
I mean, because he didn't look very good his last fight. He didn't. I mean, he looked good fighting, but his body, he looked kind of deflated. Kind of like really drained.
After a certain point, the body just kind of changes into a different form.
There was that towel thing, that controversy of him holding on the towel.
For weight. I remember that. I mean, we'll just I think he'll retire before he goes to heavyweight. Because he even said
no, he's not going to heavyweight.
Because he does not want to fight Stipe or Ngannou.
Not Ngannou, for
dude.
Sure.
Oh my god, Ngannou lives.
He would look like a 5-year-old compared to Ngannou. Like literally, he would hold his hand.
He'd pick him up and like rock him to sleep.
Dude, yeah, I would rather fight. To be honest, I'd rather fight.
Who would you rather fight, DC or Ngannou?
I would rather fight Ngannou because it would be so quick and easy. Like no,
you wouldn't even lift your hands up. You just run chin out
torture.
First.
Like I could like last just long enough to be still really tortured, because he would just toss me around, but I'd still be awake for it. Ngannou, one swift flick to the face, and I'm out for a couple of days. He was lulled to sleep.
Just fucking send your head to a different state, my dude.
Yeah, just honestly.
It's like, where do you want to go?
Yeah.
And you're like, California.
He would knock me out so hard, Neil deGrasse Tyson would come out and start like, he'd be like Joe Rogan's place like that. He'd interview me after. Like, hey, what planet are you on?
Outside of our galaxy. He's like, what the fuck? And just shows your head going across the screen. Anyways, but dude, I mean, the big thing about Ngannou is that he like grew up shoveling sand in Africa. Like he's like a true like.
This is not racist, by the way.
No. Hashtag no racist. Yeah. But anyways, he just grew up in a very rough part of Africa too. And
his dad was a street fighter.
Yeah, a famous one at that.
It's like, I don't want to know what Papa fucking Ngannou was like.
Jesus, I mean, let's just move on. I can't even. But he ended up moving to France and being homeless in France for a bit, and then
he just work or just sleep in a basement of a gym or something like that?
Yeah. He worked for a boxing gym, if I'm not mistaken. Slept
and
in their
then
basement.
Someone was like, "Hey, dude, you gotta do MMA. You'd be amazing."
And he's like, "Okay." And
one of his I guess one of the people who was at the boxing gym.
Oh my god, yeah. And so he just within 2 years, he just murks people to the top. Like he's just literally.
He lost his first one, right?
Yeah.
I bet whoever beat him has the biggest goddamn chip on their shoulder. Like they beat Ngannou, but I'm sure he was just. I think it was his first
guarantee you, if he goes back in the cage with him right now, there's no way, because his hands have gradually per fight have gotten so much better. He's not just some mindless brute that just fucking swings to chop down trees and shit. He's not trying to end your life every shot. He's getting better
technically.
Yeah, he's getting more technically sound, and he lives at the UFC facility in Las Vegas. This facility, insane. Joe Rogan took a tour there, and I was following his Instagram, and he just fucking went room to room. This is the most high-tech, state-of-the-art fighting facility in arguably the planet. No, like I'd say the planet easily.
Yeah,
like
they have like the free food 24/7.
They have like food. They have nutrition, a nutritionist right there, a physical therapist. They have in-body machines that tell you like everything up to your bone density. It'll tell you, and it'll show you like you have like 2 pounds less muscle in your left leg, and all that shit. And they have a boxing ring. They have a MMA cage. They have
pools and shit.
They have pools, saunas. They have.
Do they have that ice thing or the?
I'm sure, dude. They there's another thing. They they have like the light therapy. They look like tanning beds. But you sit in there, it's like a low level like light therapy thing. It basically something with the way
like a little hot dog. Rotating at a gas station. Ngannou would be the biggest little hot dog on the. Jesus,
he is just an animal, and
he's
then
thicker than a Snicker.
Oh my god, dude!
Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
For his weight class though, he looks fucking shredded.
Yeah, I wonder how much fat he has on him.
I'm guessing probably 10-11%.
And he weighs what?
260. Like, something? Dude.
Oh my god.
Like, that's
how much do you think he eats?
Oh, to maintain his basal metabolic intake, at least 3,000 calories a day, at least, because that's 260 pounds of just fucking like Thor's hammered fists.
Yeah,
like, and they find the argument was whether he had fought some real big competitors, like he was just murking all these unknown heavyweights.
Alistair Overeem was his first real.
They tested him with an elite striker, and not only a K1 kickboxer, but a Grand Prix champion.
Granted, it was Ubereem.
Ubereem. Okay, this is Alistair Overeem we're talking about. And Ubereem is back before USADA. Basically, their drug testing agency came into play, and he was
jacked to the gills.
Like, just
he could probably breathe underwater. Like he was that.
Like
he was.
Testazilla.
If jacked could be a better word, that's what he was. Like, to the gills.
Yeah, dude.
He had underboob because of all the muscle.
Yeah, and anyways, USADA came into play and he just fucking deflated. But that made him a better fighter. Like, he
couldn't just run the fuck through people and
he couldn't just fucking like choke slam fuckers anymore. Mm-hmm. Granted, it was fun to watch, but anyways, Alistair Overeem was just. He's almost has been around as long as Bisping, if not longer. Oh, and I mean, he fought Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, so he's fought.
He's been around. He's a legendary fighter.
Yeah,
and this was his first test because I mean, people were saying that he's at the tail end of his career. He's been knocked out a lot. In the past. It's just true.
And this is the cherry on top.
But nonetheless, he was the number one contender.
Yeah.
Or was he the number 2?
I don't know, but there's not a whole lot going on in that division, really.
I mean. Besides Stipe
and Ngannou.
That's about it.
Really, I mean,
that's the significance of this
wins,
fight.
That's gonna be.
Oh, he's gonna be
champ for a while, unless Stipe gets an immediate rematch.
Well, you do realize that Stipe, if he wins this will be the record for heavyweight title defenses at 3. Yeah, no one's been able to hold it for longer than 2
just because of the one-punch knockout.
And here's the thing about Stipe: he's just a local boy from Cleveland, firefighter. He's a fucking hero
over there.
And he just stays within his
fucking Captain America.
Yeah, right. And he's just a good old fucking
hometown dude.
Yeah, and he's just murking folks like crazy. But that's just the thing. Ngannou has this power that is just unprecedented. I've never seen it in my life. Never seen it in my life. And he knocked out Alistair Overeem with the most vicious uppercut I have ever seen in combat sports, period.
Yeah, it should not even be called an uppercut.
I Hershey kissed in my pants just a little bit after I saw that.
Yeah.
Like,
how
his lower
Overeem
jaw,
was time traveling after that.
Dude, and he left his fucking
soul.
Yes. Just
crippled and decrepit. Yeah.
But I mean, and then you have Stipe, who also beat the fuck out of Alistair. He's an awesome fighter. We're just shitting on him.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And also, Stipe's last fight with Junior Dos Santos, dude, he knocked him out. Almost like how Conor McGregor can knock people out going backwards. Stipe can do the same thing.
No doubt, Stipe can knock out Ngannou.
Almost anywhere. Because he has that knockout power, that crazy ass knockout power.
They both have that crazy.
He can fight going backwards, which is a huge.
There's no doubt about that. He will be more technically sound. But see, the thing is, Ngannou's been fucking ending people's lives
careers.
Before the second. Yeah, like before the second round. we do not know if he can go into the deeper water and, like, you know, has the good cardio.
I don't know if we're gonna find out.
Can he weather a wrestler? Stipe, I guarantee
has his chin been tested?
It has not, and that's the thing too. I mean, Alistair Overeem tried. He was successful in getting Ngannou against the cage in that first round,
but I think once he did, he was like, "Oh fuck!"
Like this
goddamn wall,
like
of muscle.
Like he just fucking shoulder shrugged this 240-pound man off him like it was nothing. He has this freakish strength. And Stipe is a very strong man as well. I mean, no doubt about it, but there's just fucking...
There's a difference.
Yes. There's that oh shit strength.
He has that just the genes of a god.
Like, Wheaties box status is not good enough for this kind of strength.
He has been touched by Zeus himself.
I mean,
probably on the tip. I don't want to know what that guy's dick's like. I don't want to know. It's probably the size. It's probably the size of me.
It's like,
in all reality,
it's like a small baby's hand holding an apple.
He makes a walrus like think twice about whether he should use the stall or the urinal. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus, dude. So I mean, this fight. I mean, the big question is, can Stipe use his wrestling, keep him against the cage, tire him out?
Can he stand up with him?
Can he? That's just the thing. If there was a fighter in the heavyweight division that can get within that 2.5 foot range where he's most dangerous, I think it would be Stipe. And that's just the question. Can he do it? I mean, my fight predictions will come out usually like the day before the fight, but now, man,
already Stipe is an underdog.
Yeah, the heavyweight champion is the underdog in this. And here's the thing, though, too, man. You got Ngannou living at that UFC facility that we've been talking about. He's there every day.
Does he literally live there? Or does he...
No, he has his own place, but he's there twice a day. It's on the podcast, the MMA podcast.
He's a regular.
Yeah, he's a regular. He has private sessions.
Oh shit!
Like, dude, like, and they have cameras and all different camera angles in the cage and the boxing ring, so you can look and fine tune everything. And you're basically just getting like the world's best engine in a classic car, and modifying the body into just some like futuristic like Google car that drives itself, and just
fusing.
Yes, and
it's
gonna be scary.
Combusting going on.
It's gonna be even if he loses this fight, he's gonna get the belt eventually. There's no doubt about it. If his career lasts long enough and if he doesn't hurt himself, there's no doubt. Even if he loses on the 20th against Stipe, he will come back and will win the belt. I don't doubt it. But I have him winning. I have him beating Stipe as of right now.
I'm gonna just have to disagree. I mean, I can though, because it's fucking like, look at him.
I just think that Stipe will weather the storm at first. He will take him to deeper waters. I think that's good for Stipe. It is good for Stipe. But I just think Ngannou is going to
have that one.
I think he has that next level
knockout power throughout the entire.
I think he has the stamina. I really do. Just based off of where he's training, what he has to live for at this point in time. I mean, look at it, dude. Look what he came from, shoveling sand.
I mean, that is true.
Like, this is his everything.
And the thing about Stipe is, like, he's just like, if I win, lose, I don't care. My wife still loves me. That's what he said on Joe's podcast.
That's all, fine and dandy. That's awesome. Like,
but it's just a difference between, like,
there's a difference between having a life and that being your life.
Yeah.
And Ngannou has it. And not only that, I don't see the stamina being an issue. We haven't seen it tested yet.
He's really fucking big.
He's really fucking big, but dude,
he might be that freak of nature. I mean,
he could be the LeBron James of the heavyweight division and UFC.
I don't think they're the same thing. I think LeBron James is like a shit that Ngannou would take. To be honest, that talented too. Just
the world's most talented shit.
Yeah, that's LeBron James.
Oh man, dude! But I'm really, really looking forward to that shit.
What you think about the Holly and Cyborg?
Man, dude, Holly Holm and Cyborg. That was a really big anticipated
people are
fight.
shitting on Holly. They say that. I think Holly did good in the first 2 rounds.
I think Holly won the first round for sure. I think she squeezed out and took the second one too. Third round was up in the air. I
think because really what people are saying is that like Cyborg really had. Some people think that Holly only won 1.
See, I'd have to rewatch that, man, because I mean,
I thought she won too.
I mean, but see, that's just the thing. It really depends on how they're looking at it. That's with the way the cards go, it's very subjective.
Yeah, it's the judges.
If you base it off of like ring control and aggression,
Holly had the first two.
Because
every time that Holly would go in or Cyborg would go in
to try to lay in a combo.
Anytime they got close to the cage, Holly just
got underhooks and put her up against the cage.
Yeah,
which was
do anything.
Which is how she was gonna win the first few rounds. Which is how she was gonna get into deeper water. Period. Which is she played that perfectly. Holly Holmes definitely played that perfectly. Like anytime she came in with some combos, she'd get underhooks and just stall her. And Cyborg was getting frustrated. At the end of the second, I did notice that she was
started fighting home for a jab.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And people think that Cyborg, just because of her stature, is just some mindless brute. But no, she has good striking. And not to mention, which we haven't seen yet because she's been murking bitches left and right, she has a black belt in world-class grappling. We just have yet to see it.
Yeah.
And that was my thing. Can Holly Holm play the kickboxing game and stay out and look for the head kick? Which, I mean, towards the end there, she got so desperate. She was throwing 1-2,
same combo,
rear roundhouse,
back and forth, just over and over.
She took so many hard shots to the face. She was getting nervous, I feel. And
and I think Cyborg did pull away with it for sure. Yeah, a lot of people were sleeping on that card. The whole card, they're like, "Yeah, that's right."
I mean, people were saying that it was just a shitty card and it was boring. But dude, we had a very impressive guillotine choke.
Boring. I didn't think it was that boring. I liked it.
I mean, yeah, a lot of fights ended by decision, but I mean,
I like that.
The piece. I mean, I can.
That gives them a chance to really showcase what they're working on.
Exactly, and you can really, really see them hone in on their own skills and just really get a chance to. I mean, if you go all 5 rounds, you either see one of two things, like two very timid fighters not doing anything, or
like Wonder Boy Thompson and fucking
Tyron
Woodley, the 1 and 2, pretty much. That was a snoozer.
But I mean, that's just it.
Fucking slam my head in the car door.
But then you have just this card, and I mean, you had very, very different styles going against one another, and it just they didn't play well with each other. You had like a striker versus a wrestler. Khabib just fucking could get out of Barboza's leg kick range. Barboza is one of the lengthiest fighters you will ever see.
Explosive too.
Yeah, I mean, but what I mean by lengthy is like people would think that as a striker you would typically stay within that 2.5 foot range where you can punch, but no, he looks for the kicks.
Dude, his kicks are just like fucking lightning bolts.
Oh my god, yeah,
you don't even see him coming at all. They're like punches.
No joke. But that's just the thing. You have Khabib only having to get past that.
He was doing good at first. He was lighting Khabib's legs up with some kicks right off the bat.
But Khabib just came out like a fucking cyborg.
Like just a fucking like a Mongol.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was coming out like a goddamn bat out of hell.
No kidding, man. And it was insane, man. I mean, I really appreciated watching that. You just got to see two totally different fighting styles clash, and it really brings a perspective into the rest of the division too. That way, you can get a good formula and layout as the
Khabib
who's
is just
where and why.
Literally almost unbeatable. Like, I mean, to be honest.
But okay, back to the little Bermuda Triangle thing that we were talking about between Ferguson, McGregor, and Khabib. Here's some things that are kind of out in the open too of possibilities. You have McGregor fights Tony Ferguson for the undisputed belt.
I think that has to be next no matter what. It has to, because they both have belts.
That's true. I mean, these are all just possibilities, but like you have McGregor Ferguson. They fight in Dublin, Ireland. That's what fucking Rogan was saying. And then they're talking. UFC wants to go to Russia, where Khabib's from.
Yeah.
So you have like. The winner of that faces Khabib in Russia. Oh my God, they'd sell so many fucking that was brilliant. That's Rogan awesome. Mentioned it, I'm pretty sure.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
If Brendan Schaub mentioned that, I'm sure they both mentioned it at some point. But anyways, that's good. That would be insane. But then you have the other way around. You have Ferguson, Khabib,
and the winner of that fights Conor
in Dublin.
I don't see that. That doesn't make any sense. Why would?
They're trying. I know they're UFC's talking Dublin and also talking.
If they're talking Dublin, Conor has to be in that card.
No, it's basically when Conor comes back. They're talking that.
Yeah.
But they are trying to go to Russia too. So I mean, that'd be perfect.
If you're looking at it money wise, I think they're gonna have to have Conor fight Tony in Dublin, and then
absolutely.
Whoever wins that, they're
going
to Russia. They're fighting Khabib.
Does Khabib fight again before that though?
No,
I don't think so.
There's no one to fight. There's no one to fight.
It'd be a waste of energy and a risk.
It would. Yeah, there's no way he's fighting until he's fighting either Conor or Tony. So. Yeah,
man, and I mean, Conor did say his next fight was going to be in the UFC. I'm pretty sure there was talk about him fighting.
Though actually, I just heard today. I think I think it's MMA news or whatever. I mean, this is what I heard. If it's true, it's on the internet. I don't know. But Dana White was saying that Conor does want that Floyd fight again. He thinks he can win.
Oh yeah, I saw that, but I wouldn't. I don't know.
Me being a fan, I would like to see it again. I think he can win. I really do. I think he can. Dude, he did so well on the first fight, and now he knows what he's up against.
Have you watched Mayweather fights though? Have you watched Mayweather fights?
Yeah.
Did you watch the one against Canelo? Did you watch one against Pacquiao? Did you watch the?
I watched highlights. I'm sure.
I really think that he just took the first few rounds off just to find his groove, just to kind of see where McGregor's speed was. See what his combos were like, see his reaction times to certain things. And if he did well, but dude, I saw the same thing in the Canelo fight, dude. The Canelo came out, fucking putting together combos, and by the 4th, 5th round, Canelo started slowing down a little bit, and that's when Mayweather started speeding up. The same exact shit that happened to McGregor. And if I vaguely remember correctly, by the end of the 4th round, Mayweather was in his corner and he went to the camera, "Now watch," or something along the lines. "I'm coming out now," or some shit like that. I don't think that he would win.
He'd win? I don't know.
No.
I think you.
I was a skeptic at first.
Check it. I mean, there's always that one punch chance that Conor has.
We're going back to the same arguments we had when the first.
It doesn't change it that it could happen.
No, the same exact stakes would happen if they were to fight again. The same exact thing.
And I'd be willing to definitely roll those dice and watch it again.
Of course, I would too. Dude, I've been waiting for Mayweather
to fucking kill himself. That happened again.
I've been waiting for Mayweather to get murked for years now, and it has never happened. Dude, I would want McGregor to win. Trust me. And I was a skeptic at first. Dude,
come in your pants.
Just the idea of it gives me a little chubby. Yeah. But then you have him possibly fighting Pacquiao, and then Paulie Malignaggi.
Honestly, why? Dude, that'd be the smarter thing to do.
I mean, it'd be more money.
And it's safer. It's just
there's definitely a lot more money in HBO boxing and any sort of boxing.
He's not taking elbows and kicks to the head.
Yeah, it is safer. He's just that's a businessman move, and McGregor is a businessman, but. Dude, I mean, he always has the UFC. He can come back and be the UFC, and have a good fan base, but he would lose a little bit of credibility for MMA fans, but all the credibility for boxing fans if he were to lose in a boxing match.
I think he could fuck Paulie Malignaggi up.
Apparently, there's more to that footage than what
I'm sure there. I mean,
apparently Paulie got his licks in too.
I'm not doubting that, but
there's this footage before the Mayweather fight of him bringing in a professional boxer, a really, really good one at that, and then Paulie Malignaggi, and he released footage of him just piecing him up and knocking him down, kind of like a statement video to Mayweather. This is for everyone else, but obviously Paulie did not take that very well.
Yeah,
and
I think it'd be fun to watch. I think
it would be very fun to watch. Yeah. It'd sell, dude, and it would be more money.
There's a story there.
It would be. I mean, even if you fight Pacquiao for $75,000, let's just say it gets that low, and that's
I don't want to see that, to be honest.
Neither do I. I think it'd be a snooze show.
Yeah, it'd be like a.
I think Pacquiao should have rode off in the sunset while he could have.
Dude, but everyone's trying to get in the Conor McGregor fucking train.
Yeah, it's because fucking he's where the money's at. He's the money boat.
Exactly. It's so crazy.
You got even GSP possibly, and Nate Diaz is just fucking waiting. He's not even thinking about fighting. Yeah, he's just I'm waiting for Conor McGregor.
That's always there too.
Yeah,
that's always a good money fight.
It will always be there. Whenever McGregor's just okay, I'm gonna retire after.
And they have to fight at 155 too, because they're both health. That's where they're healthiest.
Yeah, and the only reason why they fought at 70
is because short
notice.
And then Conor want to do it again at the same weight.
I don't see Conor going back up to 70 unless it's fighting GSP. And even then, dude, GSP's a big boy. And I understand Conor has that, knockout power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no doubt that he could possibly knock out GSP. But dude, there is a significant size difference, and he would have to hit GSP harder than other opponents to knock him out for sure. And GSP just has that wrestling background, so McGregor would get tested on the ground. Here's the thing: can he deal the same damage that Bisping, a light 185er, did to GSP from the ground? And deal the same damage is what I'm getting at. McGregor is a big frame for 55, but you got GSP who's cutting down from 85. And he filled in very nicely into that goddamn weight class. Snug as a bug, dude.
Well, I mean,
he's
just so much smaller than the other ones besides Bisping. Fucking, big Robert Whittaker is, and Yoel Romero and fucking Luke Rockhold. Like, there's a difference.
Dude, I found out that Mayhem Miller fucking choked out Lawler.
Really?
Yeah, dude. They were talking about it. And
no
Mayhem Miller was a fucking beast, man.
Yeah, well, that wasn't in the UFC, though. That was back when UFC was
something else. It was back in the day. Mayhem Miller is the old host of the MTV show Bully Beat
Down. That show's fucking awesome. I love that show.
Don't you know the intro by heart?
I forgot the fucking song. Oh, shit. Yeah, I used to watch it every day at lunch. Just to pass the goddamn time.
Oh, dude,